Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey everyone, Duncan here with another episode of the Firebelly Social Show where I chat with founders and leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And if you know this crew, you know that they're amazing people on a mission to change the world, make things better, and they're just overflowing with courage. In this special edition of the show, we'll take a look back at some of our favorite conversations from past episodes. It's brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands light up their social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community, get some retail support and excitement around your food and beverage brand, visit us at firebellymarketing.com to learn more. Now, let's take a look back at parts of some terrific conversations from past episodes.
The Food Beverage Insider Box program we just started this year, and it's a way to actually taste all these great products that we see on LinkedIn, Instagram, that we hear about on news sites. We just released our summer edition, summer 2025, which you receive and I have here in the background. We're working on our fall edition that will be launching in just a few weeks now. So as you mentioned, there's a limited quantity, so they will sell out. So get on it fast before you miss yours. But essentially, right, like I've been doing this for years. Every week I'm posting news about dozens of brands, new product launches, new retailer launches, all this exciting stuff, and realize 80% of them, I've never actually tried the product. And it's not because I don't want to, but they might not be at my local store. I don't want to necessarily like go on Amazon or their site and buy a 12 pack if I just want to try one of them. And so really the discovery box, or the insider box that we have, is a way to discover all these products, try them out, and taste them so that you have some more context, right? So when you see like one of the brands behind me, Better Sour, founded by Samira and Bella. Bella's the founder of Shaka Tea, which sold to the company that owns King's Hawaiian, right? Like awesome product, gummies are great. And this is a way to try them in the box so that you can see if they're for you, become an early adopter, an early customer, and go on to support those brands either as the customer, as an investor, as a retail buyer, as a distributor, right? To like get these products into your hands. So it's been a really fun initiative. I'll give a little sneak peek. We're working with some awesome brands for the fall. One of our most requested products is Mark Samuel's new kettle chips that he's launching. And so stay tuned. You might see those in the fall edition coming up.
Wow, I hadn't heard about this. What's the story behind the kettle chips?
Yeah, so for those who know, right, Mark Samuels, he ran I1 Organics, which was a line of like protein sticks and crisps and things like that for a while. Eventually kind of sold off that brand. And over the past couple of years, he's been really posting around living out his values. He's a serial entrepreneur. This is probably his like fifth company, came from the fitness space, but he's realized he wants to build a brand around family, around faith, around health. And with his last company, they were good products, but they were kind of a little niche. People have really had to have a lot of education to understand what they were. So he said, how can I reinvent a really simple product like kettle potato chips, but make it better for you, right? And using avocado oil for the chips, really great ingredients, clean ingredients. He's putting his face on the packaging out there. His kids are on the back of the packaging. So it's really embodying all of his values in a really great product.
That's really, really cool. I mean, we have our own name for the insider box around here.
What is it?
We call it Jordan's Treasure Box.
I love it.
And I got to tell you, I was telling you in the pre-show that, I made the mistake of having the box delivered to our office. And, we're a food and beverage agency. And little did I know that there was a fight going to ensue on who was going to eat what. And what Duncan, you can't have any because we got to shoot the products. And so it really is kind of like treasure around here. And I suspect that's the case. It is, I don't know what the persona is, but my guess is it's someone that wants to try new things. They want to do it before anyone else does. There's some kind of like, what is it called? Bragging rights, or,
yeah, everyone wants to be like that first person to like learn about, share a brand, get that word of mouth. And so a couple things. One, these boxes, anyone can buy them, but I'm specifically designing these for retail buyers, distributors, agency owners like yourself, consultants, other founders who are really into industry and want to be the first to try out these new products. And as you mentioned, they go fast. Everyone wants to try these things. They're things that people have heard about, they've been wanting to try. And so we've actually after our initial trial, we had a bunch of companies come to us and they're like, hey, I want to get one of these for each of my employees every quarter, which we release boxes once a quarter. To have like an event around. We bring everyone together, try all the products, figure out which ones are our favorites, and then that way we can stay on top of what's new in the industry, what's hot, and it can help our teams improve and be better connected to what's actually going on in the space. And so I'm really excited about that. So if anyone listening to this has a team, want to buy it for your team members, we also can set that up for you too.
It's called in the late 90s and early 2000s. The US did not have the beverage industry that it has today. I mean, there's a proliferation of development that's happened that's pretty amazing. And, functional remains to be a very hot topic. And I think that continues to be. We have decided not to go down that path, despite, at times pressures to do so or opportunities to do so. And, going back to just sort of being true and authentic, we don't want to make promises that we can't keep as a product. We just want to be a great tasting product that people enjoy. I also know that most products never make it to 1 million in revenue and die out really, really rapidly. And I think there's in the NA space, there's been an opportunity for a lot of brands to get out there quickly because the retailers are picking things up. They're all trying to build these sets. They're throwing them all into the mosh pit. Now, as we get into, call it year 4 or year 5 of the NA movement, or not even year 3, now is the product selling? Can it survive? And then if you are successful, can you fund your business? Can you get to profitability? It's a really, really challenging industry. So I think you've seen in the NA space, there's been a massive proliferation. There has to be a culling at some point. I think there's been enough demand on the retail side to push that back for a while. But like in any space, ultimately, you go from 90 coconut waters to 3. There's probably going to be something, somewhat similar within the NA space. Overall in the beverage space, I think, healthier items are going to continue to be of interest. Sort of less sweet, I think, is going to continue to be of interest. And, I can't pretend to say that I fully understand the functional pieces, and others do, but, everything I read, and then obviously THC is having a massive moment right now in the beverage space, because a lot of attention, out there. And I'm very interested and curious to see how that plays out. This all is as a result of the Farm Bill changes 24 months ago. Regulators want their money. So I don't know how that does not somehow get regulated and, perhaps tightened, and some of the ability to sell, across the internet or what have you, a drug that is effectively for 21 and older, alcohol is no different, can continue to sell over state lines. I think there'll be some pullback on that. So I watch that very keenly. But you're also seeing that explode inside of liquor stores. So as alcohol goes down, this goes up. It's fascinating right now. I mean, wine's down massively. But overall, are people really spending less? And it's hard to get the right data on all that. But I think people are, as far as the NA is concerned, we're going to continue to see people opting to live healthier choices. As I like to always remind everybody, non-alc is bought by people that drink. 93, 94, 92, whatever the data is, changes every month. Of all sales, percent of all sales are made from people that drink. So this is a moderation game. This is people being healthier. And we all know the younger generation's drinking less. They just are. They're not as attached to it. It's not Saturday night, what are we drinking? It's Saturday night, what are we doing? There's a big difference.
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. And I think that's probably, a large part of what's going on in California.
Right.
I mean, I know that on my team, That's certainly the case. So you go out to lunch and, it used to be a big deal. Your boss told you could order a cocktail, when you felt like, hey, I've arrived, right? I'm having a martini with my boss. They don't care.
Right. Right. Exactly. No.
So
They're going to go to yoga later. They're going to go for a run, or they have an assignment.
As an entrepreneur, you're always looking for like the next best way to do something. Like okay, we did it great yesterday. Now let's reassess and figure out how do we do it better today, right? And for me, having founded two different companies and had a whole career before this, it's like, there's scar tissue here. And the idea of, of being able to help the company avoid that and share with younger employees, that like team members that haven't been on that same journey, like how do we avoid this singular catastrophe that I've experienced and dealt with, or like here's something that really worked well and accelerated the business. Let's try it for Three Trees now. And so it's a fun matchup of a well-established brand in the natural foods world with great quality products, with an excited team, and we've got a really bright future right ahead of us right now for Three Trees. It's super exciting. And honestly, Duncan, I can't seem to get myself out of founder mode. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. So I think some of the folks I work with at Three Trees are like, what? Aren't you just like gonna take it easy? No, let's go. Let's do this. So
it's a very particular mindset, Matt. I know, I'm 57, and so I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do. And sometimes people will say, hey, are you going to retire? You seem to be doing more things. And I know what you're saying. It is a mindset of being involved and I think contributing and creating change. And so the thing that is particularly impressive is that not only are you doing all these things, you and Jenny doing all these things today, but that they've been in place in a manner that kind of predates what a lot of the people in the set have been doing.
Right. It really does.
And
I mean, it's kind of like Jenny was doing this before it was cool, when it was the only game in town. I remember Blue Bottle Coffee was a roaster. Well, it still is a roaster and a coffee chain in San Francisco. It got acquired by Nestle years ago. But when Jenny was first starting out, she was making this fresh almond milk and bottling it up, casing it up, and delivering it in her Prius to the Blue Bottle coffee shops in San Francisco and Oakland. So it's like, that's where the history comes from, is like this extreme care and dedication to high quality plant-based milks. So it's pretty fun. It's just like there's a great origin and history and true care and of a bootstrapped entrepreneur who started a company and just steadily grew it without taking on outside capital, without falling to the whims of whatever the market was saying one day. It's like, you see this with so many early phase food and beverage companies where they get caught up in what's the investor going to think and like how are they pushing us to grow the business. And with a company like Three Trees, we take a approach of, obviously we want to grow the company and there's great growth plans on the horizon, but how do we intelligently grow the company? How do we make sure that these promotional strategies are actually going to yield us an improved position in the market? And, what investments do we make in the company in like for sales that are going to help us take off? And, we found some little golden nuggets recently in our recent journey that have been really fun because they haven't been tapped before. So there's a lot of untapped potential, even after all these years.
In the early days of Uncle Matt's, you could easily get shiny ball syndrome. It was a shotgun blast of, opportunity. Like, oh my gosh, maybe I could have, anything from organic carrots and apples to milk to, orange juice. And that was a bad strategy.
Yeah.
You just got too distracted, too diluted, too many good ideas. Right. And so you really, as an early entrepreneur, what do I do really well? What do I do really well? What is the customer telling me I do really well? Because the velocities will increase, your product will continue to grow. If you're not doing that well and the customer isn't rewarding you, then you need to pivot and do some other things. Once you have success, then you can add some more innovation. And so we started innovating once we figured out, like, okay, you know what? They like our pulp-free orange juice. Whatever things can we add in that space? And we started very simple, adding with pulp, adding calcium, very simple, easy items to get into. But today, besides lemonades and punches, tea is a pretty big jump for us. I grew up as a tea drinker down here in the South. I love drinking, just black tea for lunch. I also like green tea in the morning, a hot green tea. So for me, it was nice to also say, hey, well, how do we challenge ourselves? We have a bottling plant. We're doing a lot of blending with juices. How do we retrofit it and be able to brew tea? And you'd be surprised how many teas are out on the market that aren't real brewed. They come from a tea concentrate, and they don't have the polyphenols naturally from brewing. They don't have the flavor. They have to add caramel color and other stuff to it, which to me, I was really disappointed. So we thought there was a pretty good opportunity in the marketplace. It was followed up by several of our key customers, buyers telling us, hey, have you thought about doing this? And it gave us the opportunity to put it on the shelf. And we're still learning. We're not going to be successful with everything that we launch, but we're definitely throwing things against the wall right now.
I mean, and I think that this is a great time for me to ask you, because you already touched on it, is there anything in the near future that you're super excited about?
Yeah, I mean, we've launched in our teas early on. We launched just basic sweet and unsweet black tea. It's an Assam variety from India, which is, I think, a nice Cadillac, really premium quality grade tea. But besides those very general ones, we've now gone into a nice half and half. We used our not from concentrate lemon juice. We do a really good lemonade, and we put that in with the black tea. It makes a wonderful half and half. We just finished a rotation in Costco LA that was very successful. They ordered twice as much as they thought they would in the beginning because it did very well. But the latest is yerba mate. So yerba mate is kind of the caffeine cousin to coffee that they use down in South America, Argentina, Brazil. It's in their culture, especially in Argentina. And they use that as a daily ritual for caffeine. And it's a cousin to the holly bush, which is pretty interesting. But it has natural caffeine in it. It also has some natural polyphenols that are good for focus, which are pretty cool. And I like it. I like the leaf. I like it's a different flavor. It's kind of a more native, it's kind of a greenish color in our bottle. So at first you're like, what is this thing? But it's definitely real brewed. We deep steep it and we add a little bit of lemon juice and some wildflower honey. And I think we've got something that is pleasure and palatable. And it's got 100 milligrams per 12 ounce of caffeine, natural caffeine, from both the yerba mate and organic green tea. So those two together, I like it. It really does work. And it's not like a coffee, high and crash. So we'll see where it goes. It's definitely different than what you'll see from your typical tea companies out there, like a Pure Leaf or a Milo's. And it's launching nationwide. The yerba mate is launching nationwide in Whole Foods and also Sprouts this month and next month. So go try and pick it up.
That's amazing. I love it. I love the vision and how you all make these steps to the side. They're kind of like horizontal integration as opposed to vertical integration, like little steps to the side. I love it.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.